I used to think I was just bad at relationships, that something about me made things harder than they should be. Because every time I got close to someone, the same thing would happen. I'd start off calm, open, just being myself. But the moment I cared, everything changed. I'd overthink their texts, notice small shifts in their tone, feel anxious if they took too long to respond. And I hated that version of me. Because on the outside, nothing was necessarily wrong. But inside, it felt like I was constantly bracing for something to go wrong, like I couldn't fully relax into the connection. And for a long time, I thought the answer was to find someone who made me feel more secure, someone who texted more, reassured me more, showed up perfectly. And I won't lie, at first, that helped. But eventually, the anxiety always came back, just in different forms. And that's when I had to face something I didn't want to admit. The problem wasn't just who I was dating, it was how I was experiencing connection. Because relationship anxiety isn't just about the other person, it's about what closeness triggers inside you. For me, closeness didn't just feel good, it felt risky. Because deep down, I had this quiet belief, if I let myself fully care, I'm going to get hurt. And once I saw that, everything started to make more sense. All the overthinking, the need for reassurance, the emotional ups and downs, it wasn't random, it was protection. My mind wasn't trying to ruin the relationship, it was trying to prevent pain. And honestly, that realization changed everything. Because instead of judging myself, I started getting curious. I started asking better questions. Not, why am I like this? But what am I actually afraid of right now? And most of the time, the answer wasn't about the present. It was about the past. Old experiences, old disappointments, moments where I felt rejected, ignored, or not chosen. And without realizing it, I carried those feelings into new connections. So even when things were going well, a part of me was waiting for it to fall apart. That's what anxiety does. It prepares you for pain that hasn't happened yet. And the tricky part is, it feels like intuition. It feels like you're picking up on something real. But often, you're reacting to something internal. And learning to tell the difference between those two things was one of the biggest shifts for me. I started noticing my patterns. When did the anxiety show up? What triggered it? What story was I telling myself in that moment? Because anxiety isn't just a feeling, it's a story. They're losing interest. They don't care as much as I do. This is going to end. And once I saw that clearly, I realized something important. I didn't need to immediately act on those thoughts. Before, I would react, send another message, ask for reassurance, pull away to protect myself. But now, I paused. I let the feeling exist without trying to fix it right away. And that was uncomfortable at first, because I was so used to doing something to calm the anxiety. But sitting with it, without reacting, started to break the cycle. I realized that feelings can rise and fall without me needing to control everything. And slowly, I started trusting myself more, not the anxious thoughts, but my ability to handle them. That's a big difference, because healing doesn't mean the anxiety disappears overnight. It means it stops controlling your behavior. Another thing that helped me a lot was learning how to communicate differently. Before, I would either stay silent or come from a place of panic. Like, do you still like me? Why are you acting different? And even if the other person reassured me, it never fully stuck, because I was asking from fear, not clarity. So I started changing how I expressed things. Instead of reacting, I'd wait until I felt more grounded, and then I'd say something like, "Hey, I've been feeling a little off lately, and I think it's more about me than you, but I just wanted to be honest about it." That kind of honesty felt different. It wasn't demanding, it wasn't blaming, it was just real. And you'd be surprised how much that changes the dynamic, because now you're not asking someone to fix your anxiety, You're letting them understand you. And at the same time, I had to build a stronger relationship with myself because a lot of my anxiety came from making the relationship my entire focus. My mood depended on it. My sense of stability depended on it. So when anything felt off, everything felt off. I had to reconnect with my own life, my routines, my interests, my sense of identity outside of the relationship, not as a distraction, but as a foundation. Because when your whole emotional world revolves around one person, even small changes feel overwhelming. But when your life feels full, the relationship becomes part of it, not all of it. And that creates emotional balance. I also had to accept something important. No amount of control can guarantee that a relationship will last. That was hard, because anxiety wants certainty. It wants to know that everything will be okay, but real connection doesn't come with guarantees. And once I stopped trying to control the outcome, I started experiencing the present more. I could actually enjoy moments instead of analyzing them. And if something did feel off, I addressed it calmly instead of spiraling. That shift changed everything because I wasn't trying to prevent pain anymore. I was learning how to handle it if it came. And that made me feel stronger, more grounded, more secure from within. And here's the thing I want you to understand. Healing relationship anxiety doesn't mean you suddenly become perfectly calm all the time. It means you stop abandoning yourself when anxiety shows up. You stop assuming the worst. You stop reacting from fear. You stop making the relationship responsible for your emotional stability. And instead, you learn to stay present, to communicate clearly, to trust yourself, and to choose relationships that actually support your growth, not trigger your worst patterns constantly. Because not every relationship is meant to feel peaceful. Some will activate your anxiety more than others, and part of healing is recognizing that too, not blaming yourself for every feeling, but also not ignoring patterns that don't feel healthy. It's a balance. And once you start finding that balance, relationships feel different, not perfect, but calmer, more stable, more real. You don't feel like you're constantly about to lose something. You feel like you're part of something, and that's a completely different experience. So if you're dealing with relationship anxiety right now, I want you to know this. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not too much. You're not broken. You've just learned to associate closeness with uncertainty, and your mind is trying to protect you from getting hurt. But protection doesn't always look like peace. Sometimes it looks like anxiety. And healing is learning how to feel safe without needing everything to be certain. And that takes time. But it's possible. And once you start experiencing it, you'll realize something. The peace you were trying to get from someone else was something you were always meant to build within yourself. Do you think relationship anxiety comes more from past experiences or present relationships? Curious to hear your thoughts below.